And the final review is happening. It's now the final review. Money Heist Season 5. Let's see. Probably one of the best TV show endings I've seen. Probably in all the shows I've watched, really. I would say the worst ranked is probably How I Met Your Mother. That one was terrible. I definitely don't recommend watching the ending if you want to satisfy the show. I just feel like the whole Robin thing getting with Ted at the end was stupid when they said that it wouldn't happen, but it was set in a different time somehow. I feel like that part was stupid. If you're gonna commit, you're gonna commit. You should just have Ted and Robin maybe marry at the end. That would have been a better result, but that's no here, no there. Let's see what's going on. Money Heist Season 5. Definitely, probably the best season in my opinion. A lot of new themes, a lot of things going on. I really enjoyed this one. Probably one of the better one, I would say. I'd give the overall season ranking. Let's start it out with that first off, because I'll go in reverse, but overall season ranking, I'm giving it a 9.8 out of 10. Very good overall. Overall, just a great show, and I definitely recommend. I can't recommend even enough, because I feel like it's just going to be great to watch. I'm going to have to watch the Korea version and update you guys on that one as well, but let's start out with the number 1, episode 1 of season 5. The professor faces off Sierra as Tamayo raises the stakes of negotiation by calling the army. In the past, Berlin meets with a family member. The family member was his son, which we finally knew that he had a son. He really didn't care for him, and he said the son wasn't that valuable to him. Him and his mom really just had all the time they wanted, and then once the son happened, he didn't really want to date her anymore, I guess. It ruined everything he said. And this episode's very good. I would give it a 9.6. You see a lot of themes of family in this one. Very good. Number 2, do you believe in reincarnation? Arturo seizes an opportunity to fight back while escalating a personal revenge. Lisbon makes a crucial discovery. Lisbon in this episode, they're really about to break her, and then he walks in with a watch. That was probably the interesting part. He walks in with a watch, and his watch is like a message to them. That's probably the most entertaining part. And Arturo got the whole infantry. He got everything in the room, and he actually dies in it. He actually dies this, or doesn't die. It's, you think he dies because he's shot by Stockholm, but he isn't. That's a pretty good episode. I would give episode 2 a 9.7 out of 10. Number 3, welcome to the spectacle of life. A betrayal and an emergency both catch Sierra by surprise. Palermo rallies the troops as the army closes on the gang, which that episode's very interesting. I feel like they really fight back in this one, and a lot of good stuff happens. I would say a 9.6 out of 10, and that's a great episode. Number 4, Your Place in Heaven. With Helsinki's life in danger, the thieves mount a covert counterattack. Years earlier, Berlin and his son conduct their first heist together. He meets his son in the episode. They conduct it. The Viking gold. So they have this Viking thing in this museum. And overall, they have to switch it out. That was pretty much the main thing of the episode. And Helsinki's life was in danger. The whole thing. So later on, he actually gets surrounded. But overall, later on in the season, we'll see what happens with him at the end. But something happens with his leg. I would give this episode a 9.5 out of 10. Very good, entertaining. Number 5, Live Mini Lives. Live Mini Lives. While surrounded by gunfire and trapped in the kitchen, Tokyo reminisces about her first love and her initial encounter with a professor, which this episode was pretty interesting. Her first love, actually, it points back to it a lot, but it finally shows of what happened with him. He got shot at the bank, or showed the flashback of it. And it's just them traveling around. They're really just tired of really working dead-end jobs. They really want to change everything, which I feel like a lot of people can kind of relate to that overall. Just like the feeling of working jobs and really not thinking you're going anywhere. I would say this episode's showing the backstory, all things like that. I'd give that backstory episode probably 9.6 out of 10. Very good episode. Number 6, Escape Valve. Sierra takes advantage of the professor's grief and gains the upper hand. Meanwhile, the team with the emotional fallout of their dead friend. That episode was pretty good overall, and earlier we saw that she actually fake killed Lisbon in one of the episodes, and Nairobi died in the last season. There's only one more death happening, and it's probably one of the most insane. I would give this episode a 9.7 out of 10. Number 7, wishful thinking. Tamayo mounts a manhunt in the neighborhood as his foes hide in the past. Berlin and Palermo explain how they plan on getting the gold out of the bank, which they're shooting out valves pretty much. Really, like, they have this high pressure pump where they're pumping the gold out, and they melted it already, and then actually repumping it on the other side, which is kind of an interesting thing overall. Great episode, but the manhunt was insane. So there was an episode in this part of the episode. She has a baby, Sierra. She finally turned the other side, and that's probably the most insane episode of the season. But Tamayo, he really gets... Sierra actually attacks him in this episode, and I want to see what happens. So they hide in a couch. That was pretty insane. And the baby actually cries in the middle of the episode. And after that, after the baby cries, he like pushes the cat off the couch to really make sure they can't hear that was actually the baby, which was a very close call right there. I would give this episode a 9.7 out of 10. Number 8, the Elegance theory. Tamayo hunts for the gold as the team races against the clock. Monica worries she's having a psychotic break. Years earlier, Berlin is deceived. Berlin is deceived because his son is actually dating his wife. It's a very interesting situation. I don't know. It's kind of weird to say, but overall, very kind of weird. Tamayo hunts for the gold. He's trying to find the gold overall. And they're trying to find every pump in pretty much all of Spain of where the water goes and trying to get it. But they're actually going uphill against the current, so like a salmon, so they won't find it. Monica worries she's having a psychotic break. She was really taking a lot of morphine, and when she really didn't need it at all. So that was pretty interesting. Her and Denver they get the relationship back together after Denver actually cheats and kisses someone else, which was very interesting. I would give the episode 8, probably a 9.8 out of 10. Very good episode overall, a lot of different themes. Number 9, Pillow Talk. The professor is left reeling after his tactics are against him. And when it seems like all hope is lost, he makes a bold decision, which he turns himself in. And these two people, who later are revealed to be Berlin's son and his ex-wife, actually... they stole all the gold, but we don't know that yet. They actually impersonate police officers. They think it's police officers, but it's really not. So they go in there and take it. They keep thinking of... the professor breaks down how they moved it with dump trucks and all this other stuff and buried dirt on top of it so it looked... they didn't cover it so they wouldn't have to check, which is actually a smart idea. They edit the security cam so you can't really see the the video of them. They finally get it. And it actually turns out an insane twist. It's on top of a house, which is... very insane. I would give this episode. Professor also gets turned in, which when he gets turned in, this episode gets very good. Denver has a very good chance of actually turning himself in and really saving himself, but he decides not to, which is overall the greatest move in my opinion. And the plan probably wouldn't have worked if he wouldn't have turned himself in. That was probably the best part. Number 10, a family tradition with multiple lives on the line. Spain's economy and stake. The professor and Tamayo engage in one final showdown. Which this final showdown is one for the ages. Honestly, a great final showdown. I would say it's overall very good. So this is how it goes. Tamayo, he's really just done with all the professor, really. I don't really know why, but after they took out all the gold of Spain and showed how they did it, they try to say, oh, they found, they try to not worry the public by pretty much, trying to make like the statement was false, or pretty much saying that they didn't get all the gold out yet. So then they showed another video of the gold actually being out, which was very good. And then it was supposed to be like a commentary on life, which I definitely do think this is a good commentary. So Tamayo's getting ready to shoot both Lisbon and Professor, and he says, we both win or we both lose, which meaning both lose means Spain loses the economy. And pretty much his main thing is he wanted people to bet about Spain and pretty much win off the bets. And since Spain is tanking so hard against the euro, it would pretty much destroy the economy overall. And it would pretty much just cause a lot of things happening. They won't get any backing from anyone in the European Union. And it would really destroy a lot. So he didn't really want that to happen. So finally he decides, after really thinking about killing them, he really actually thought about it, which is a stupid mistake in my opinion. But after that happens, he decides not to, and it's actually fake fake like rice, like the packets of rice painted bronze, which really shows the power of gold. Isn't really with gold in general, it's the perception of what gold is really, which is kind of interesting to think about in general. Like, it's kind of a trip that you could have fake gold in the thing and it being a state secret. That's what he said overall. It's gonna be a state secret passed down for generations, and no one's really gonna know, which no one really needs to know, because as long as it appears as real gold, and they got the gold back. So they delivered the gold back, and they took the real gold, they put in the fake gold in the vault, so it had the appearance, which is definitely a smart idea. What do you think about this? In my opinion, it's an interesting take, but I think it would definitely work in real life. I think if the U.S. did the same, but I don't think the U.S. is on the gold standard anymore. And I think they got rid of that during Richard Nixon's term in the White House, but that's no here nor there. But overall, a lot of the professor's things are being questioned in this episode. A lot of his motivations and him being selfish. Really them questioning if he's selfish or not. If he did the heist for himself to help Rio or really not. That's really the main theme of some of the episodes. But the main thing I want to talk about with the gold, I don't really know. I feel like, so at the end, they walk out of the bank, they act like they shot him, and they're actually pulled out in body bags, which everyone in the crowd is very shocked and sad. I was actually for a second like, they actually died. I was like, that could have been a possible ending, but they open the body bags up and they're actually inside, which is insane. And they go live their lives with different passports, which I think they can really go anywhere they really want to now, because they have an approval of Bank of Spain that they're not real citizens. They're not, they could really go back to Spain if they really want to, and go anywhere in Europe, I guess, because they're not wanted anymore. Nothing's really gonna happen. They have all that money and euros as well. The more euros from season 1 and season 2 as well. And the show just ends on a very good high note with everyone being happy. Tokyo dying was she also took out several soldiers. I forgot to mention that part actually, but that was an epic episode because they really showed that the government was trying to pretty much make her as pretty much the villain, but it really turned out a martyr once Lisbon actually started taking video of what was happening, or what her opinion of Tokyo was overall. But this show is so good. I definitely recommend it, and you should definitely watch it. That's probably being the main thing overall. And what's your opinion on this show? And what do you think about all the gold and what's going on with it? I feel like the gold was a very interesting plot, but they're gonna have a lot of money just because it was about $6 billion in gold, or euros actually, and that's a lot. So Professor ranking for this season, 9.9 out of 10. Tokyo ranking for this season, 9.9 out of 10. Very good this season. Rio, 9.6. Raquel, Lisbon, 9.5. Denver, 9.9. Nairobi died the season before. Monica, I would give a 9.5. Helsinki, a 9.9. Alicia Sierra, she's very good in this season. I'll give a 9.9. Martin, he was very overall bad throughout the whole 3, 4, and 5. I would give probably, I'd say maybe a 9.9. Julia, which very good character overall. One of my favorites. I would give a 9.9. Marseille, 9.1. Raphael, 9.0. Tatiana, his former wife, Berlin's former wife, a 6 or a 5. That's my ranking of her character this season. Luis Tamayo, the guy's so annoying, I don't give him a 1. Angel, he really doesn't add that much. He just acts as like pretty much the middleman of all of them, I guess. He's like a 2, bro. Suarez, he's like a 0. And I would give all the soldiers in this show a 0 as well. They were very bad. I didn't really like any of the soldiers on the show. They were kind of annoying and really like trying to flex their moral equivalency to everyone, I guess. That was the main thing that was annoying. But this is probably going to be the end of the video. See you and goodbye.